the Hood Motivator, Dr. McIntyre, Dr. J.R. McIntyre, live at the Motivators Table Podcast Season 4. And we got a huge guest today. But today, I want to tell you guys right now, thank you to Los Angeles Tribune, and thank you for helping me understand who I am and putting me in front of your podcast and endorsing me and sponsoring me and signing me last summer. I appreciate it. Thank you to the Riverside platform for giving me the opportunity to tell my story. And we here live today at the Motivators Table, and we got a huge guest today. Huge guest. I can't wait to introduce her. Her name is Miss Shirley Skyers. How you doing today?
I am so wonderful. It is a good day. Despite the cold, it's
Yes.
a good day.
My fellow Soror, how you doing?
Absolutely. And I'm
Yeah.
so happy to be on your platform, Fred. Thank you for welcoming me.
Yes,
I'm
definitely.
really looking forward to the conversation we're going to have.
Definitely, definitely. I want you right now to take the time to share this link live. It's on YouTube and
Fantastic.
live on LinkedIn. You can share it to your people on your Facebook right now if you want
Great.
to. Go to my LinkedIn. You will see it say live. Take that link, drop it on your YouTube, drop it on your Facebook. Let people chime in. They can chime in. We can answer chats. They can leave good quotes,
Nice.
all that stuff. So I'm giving you a few minutes to do that. Yep.
Awesome.
Let
Thank
them
you.
know it's live on YouTube, live on LinkedIn, but you could take that live link and give it to them on Facebook. Do that real quick. Yeah, it's cold out there in Connecticut, huh?
I know you don't have any sympathy for us in Connecticut, given where you are, but
I was just there. I just and then my best friend lives there, so he
nice.
showed me all the snow. I think it was a day or two ago. I was like, "Wow, I can't do that. I don't even know how y'all grew up like that." Okay, that depressed. That makes me sad.
It's different. Trust me
Yeah,
when I tell you it's
yeah,
different. It's different. All
definitely.
right. My brother, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, okay, definitely. So let's get into it. Let's tell the world, tell the motivators, tell the new followers, the old followers, my motivators. Let us know where you from, and let's talk about it. Tell us who you were as an inner child.
For sure. So, my name is Shirley Skyers Thomas. I'm an attorney. Among other things, I am an executive coach. So, in this space, not only am I a legal professional, I do consulting for the state of Connecticut. I do work for the state of Connecticut, was in private practice for many years. And that's a big shout out to my siblings, my brother and my sister. They started the firm, and
Mm,
I was able to work with them. So, having the opportunity, we can get into it, but
mm,
having the opportunity to step into footsteps that were already implanted,
mm.
that's huge.
Right.
That's huge. Our culture is Jamaican. We come from Jamaican heritage. Those are
Okay.
our parents. So
Yes.
the way that we grew up was very particular, very very intentional. The way that our parents raised us, and they're pastors. My dad is a bishop. My mother's a pastor.
What?
So
Let me stop you right there. You just said two things that we got in common. My mom is from Jamaica, and my dad's a bishop. Wow, look at that.
we're probably cousins, Jay.
We
We
probably
probably
cousins.
cousins.
Yes, definitely. Keep going. Yeah.
so so I'm preaching to the choir right now because
Yeah.
the way that you're raised is particular, it's different, especially having parents who are immigrants to this country, and what they wanted for us was vast, it was broad. I didn't recognize it at the time, but I'm so blessed to be in the space where, again, I am an attorney, I am an executive coach, and I've written a few books, but this one book is really where I bring the message forward. And this book, just as introduction, book is called Unlearned, and is about honoring your story, because we all have stories. You have a you have a phenomenal story, but it could hinder you if you allowed it to, because there are pangs of pain, there are barriers that come up, there are aspects of your narrative that could be that could kind of be in your way and not allow you to progress unless you look at it properly, unless you frame it in the right, in the right context. If you take your story and take it out of pain and allow it to be progress, allow it to be victory,
Right.
allow it to move you forward. So
Right.
that's what my book is about, and that's what my message is.
Y'all hear right now, motivator. She just promoted her book. Hopefully, you guys got your highlighters and your pens ready, and you taking notes. We're gonna dive deep. So tell me, Miss Shirley, how was you as a kid growing up?
I grew up in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Connecticut has a lot of connotation about what it is and what it isn't, but Bridgeport was a low economic space, very diverse. A lot of people of color, a lot of Jamaican people, interestingly enough, but
Wow.
I know, surprising.
Yeah.
But the way that we grew up was modest, and we understood that we were new to this space. I mean, I was born in Philly, so I am not new to this U.S., but having parents who have a immigrant culture and having parents who had a mindset and they brought with them bits of the island, bits of the UK, bits of Canada, that was how I grew up. It was it was a conglomerate of culture, but we were inoculated. I'm so thankful and appreciative that we were inoculated. So home for me was that safe space. I'm the youngest of four. Wait, what number child are you, Jay?
I am three.
Okay.
Yes, I'm three. Yes, I'm
Okay.
the I was the baby, then my little brother was born. So yes, I'm three.
So you catch that. So I'm the
Yes.
youngest of four, and I've always had someone who was beside me. I had my siblings beside me. We came together as a posse. Like we arrived. The Skyers kids have arrived.
Right.
So the inoculation was in my home and with my family. And church was a huge part. Church being, and I don't mean the dogma, I don't mean the message of church. I mean the culture of church. I mean the families that embraced you. There are times that I would be, trying to do what I was doing, and someone would see me on the street, call me out, rep- report me to my parents, but with the intention of getting me in line.
Right.
And now, as an adult, as a 50-something-year-old, I appreciate that. I hope someone will do that for my children,
Right.
right?
It
So
takes a village. It took a
it
village.
really does. It
Yeah.
really does.
Mhm.
So Bridgeport in the 80s was crack cocaine, it was poverty, it was a lot of gun violence, it was the trappings of urban center, right? We're not unfamiliar with that. So that's the space that I grew up, but I was inoculated in the small community and in even this smaller cultural community. It
Mm,
was fantastic in retrospect.
mm.
As you're going through it, you're like, this is oppressive. This is hard. I can't do nothing.
Right.
However, I'm so thankful and grateful that that was my journey
Mm.
because I was allowed to um, to be great, but in a small space. So when I was able to spread my wings, when I went to college, when I went to law school, even with the hurts and the pains, and I get into that in my book, even with the challenges, and they were really very significant, I had something to fall back on because I had this fantastic foundation.
I love that. I love how you broke that down too. And as a kid, you understood, and your parents and the culture and everything. And back in the '80s too, yeah, it was the crack epidemic. My mother was hooked on it. We were
Mhm.
born with it in our system, so it's like everybody and their mom was on, and their father was on crack cocaine or tried it at least. And a lot of our people got hooked on it. They
Mm.
got hooked and strung out, and I watched my mom struggle with crack addiction, and then finally dying of AIDS in
Oh my
'94.
gosh.
And I was a little kid. I didn't even understand. I didn't understand what was going on. I saw her go from a pretty chocolate woman to looking like Skeletor. And then the last
Oh
day
my
she
Lord.
died, she told me, "Hey Jr., like I went to go see her in the halfway house, and she had bed sores. She couldn't get up. She was laying down,
Mm.
and she was like, draw me an angel." And I was like, because she knew I liked to draw, and I started to draw, and then I got it complete for her and gave it to her, and she was like, "Now color it black." That color. I asked her why. She didn't tell me. Took the angel home, and that night, three or four in the morning, they called my dad, and he woke us up, and sister crying, and saying she's no longer with us, and that's
Oh,
the last memory I have of that, knowing that's what the crack epidemic did, and AIDS and all that craziness as a little boy. So yeah, I recollect what that situation.
yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, that's a harsh story, and
right,
I know that is your reality,
right,
and those are your memories. But hopefully, and I know you've worked on mindset, and this is a part of your
yeah,
platform and a part of what you share.
yeah,
But hopefully, within all of that, you see the benefit, you see the good, you see
right,
the beauty, you see, the growth of yourself too. So,
yeah,
I mean, we live with tough stories. We really
definitely.
live with tough circumstances.
Yeah. I was embarrassed about that. I never really told because, growing up in our households, we was told not to take the information outside the house because information sinks ships. And I never knew that. That's why my dad never was, hey, don't talk about what's going on in this house. Even at school, social
Mhm.
workers would come after my mama died. They would come to the school and question us and all these things. But now, like saying that out loud, it used to be cringy because
Yeah.
I remember when my mother died, lady in school, she was like, "We heard your mom died, condolences," and she was being all sweet. Then she was like, "Do you have AIDS?" And I told my dad that they asked me. I was a little kid, and
Wow.
he was like, how naive, and just that's what made my embarrassment. My mother on crack, all these things that we going on. So when I got in the army, I erased all them stories,
Mm,
and now that I tell them to this day, and I relive it, I got some of the homies and some of the friends and some of the people that know me for 40 years, like we didn't know or that's not Trump. Like, yeah, because we was told not to say anything. It made yeah. So some of the times y'all didn't see me, I was
man.
at the halfway house with my mom. My dad. We was on Skid Row with her. I'm
Oh
talking
my
about that
goodness.
was from Friday night to Sunday night. Go hang out with your mom, and she will have us on Skid Row because
My
that's where she was
goodness.
at. That's where her people was at. And if you guys don't know about Skid Row, like that's a famous street in California, where in Los Angeles, where all the homeless people stay. So these are kind of stories we tell on the motivators table, and I want to get down to your story. So
Yeah.
tell me about how you was as a kid in high school.
Oh, interesting. So, and I love the fact that your platform elevates stories and
Yeah,
that you highlight the journey because
yeah,
I think that's so hugely important. I'm definitely going to answer your question, but I think it's so hugely important because at this juncture, at this space in our time, in our lives, I mean, sometimes you forget what got you here. And it's imperative that we do not, even if it's embarrassing on first blush,
mm,
even if you feel a little shame at first blush. There is a way to take your story and, revive it and revise it for your benefit. It doesn't change the story, doesn't
right,
change the pain, but it changes the impact. So
right.
that's where I am with this.
I love
Um, in my book, I write about very personal aspects, sexual abuse, challenges for identity, things that would be very embarrassing, would be very shameful. But having lived through it, and this is as a 10-year-old up through college, different aspects of things that have happened,
it. Hmm.
um, it could be very embarrassing. However, this is not where our story begins or ends. This is a part of the journey. And we take this and we allow it to fuel and propel us. So you asked how I was in as a young child and in high school.
Yeah.
Um, I was very outgoing. I am not scared to engage. I love people. This has always been my space of comfort. I want to talk. I want to, have this discourse.
Yeah.
So I've been chatty. I've been
Yeah.
chatty since I was a little kid, and
That's
it
good.
worked to my benefit.
Yeah.
But I also hid behind that. So any of the shame and embarrassment, I hid behind a smile. I hid behind a laugh and a joke
Mm,
because that came naturally,
mm,
and I hid behind being very I even say articulate and outgoing because it came naturally.
right.
So that was how I was in high school. Very outgoing, articulate, athletic. I played basketball. I didn't get anywhere with basketball though, Jay. I ain't getting anywhere. But
Okay, at least you tried.
I tried,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, definitely.
I'm
We tried.
5'9". I should have
Yeah.
been able to I should have been dunking. Um,
Yeah.
but even having those benefits and having that outgoing nature and being I think I was drawn to writing, and this is why I write. I was drawn to reading, but those also became a crutch that I hid
Mhm.
behind. And
Okay.
so I carried that through college. I dove headfirst into studies, and I tell a story. You mind if I share the story right
Yeah,
quick?
come on, let's share the story. Let's go. Yeah.
And so there is, when I came into leaving high school, I received a scholarship. I received a fuller scholarship to UConn.
Okay.
And I was elated. I was over the moon. Look, I'm the youngest of four, as I was saying. So my parents were going to be on the hook for this college tuition. So relieving them of that burden was huge. And I was really excited about it. So I got this full ride to UConn, but it was for engineering. So
Mm,
before I started telling you the story, I was telling you that I'm into reading, I'm into writing. I like
mm-hmm,
to, I'm creative like that.
mm-hmm,
Mind is not an engineering mind.
mm,
However, I was like, okay, I'm gonna push through this and take that little 4-year scholarship and do what I can do with it.
yeah.
That thing almost broke me from year two, from year one, I was struggling. Just it didn't compute. It
Right.
didn't make sense to me. This is not my zone of excellence, not my
Mm-hmm.
zone of genius. All right. Went back another year, sophomore year. I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna try my best and try not to get those, those low marks and try not to get kicked out of
Right, right,
school
right.
because this is not my forte. All
Definitely.
right. Junior year, I am struggling. I'm trying to push through. I called my dad. I said, Dad, I'm coming home. And my house to the school, maybe an hour and a half. I said, Dad, I'm coming home. And normally, it's like, okay, cool, come home for the weekend, whatever, whatever. I was like, nope, this is it. I am staying home. I'm coming home and I'm staying home. Because this is not for me. I'm not cut out for this.
Yeah.
This is not my space. So my dad, and I don't even think he remembers the details of this, but it was so powerful to me.
Yeah.
He said, I'll be right there. Probably within an hour and a half to 2 hours, he was at my dorm room, knocking at the door. Come on, daughter. Let's go for a drive. Okay. The backdrop is my dad is a bishop, was a bishop then. He had our church van. The church van was yellow. It was bright as all get out. It looked like the Jamaican flag, in my opinion. It was yellow and green and black. It was bright. So I
Yeah.
was always embarrassed of that church van coming to pick me up.
Yeah.
But this day, Jay, I was like, come get me. Whatever it takes, whatever it looks like, whatever I look like, come get me.
Yeah.
Dad came to get me,
Mm.
got me in the car. He said, stop packing, put your bags down, stop packing, let's take a ride. I took a drive with Dad. He drove around campus. In this van, drove all around campus. And he said, what do you love? And I was like, wait a second. In my head, I'm like, I'm not allowed to love anything. I was given the direction. I was given the scholarship. I was told to, go ahead and become an engineer. My input doesn't matter right now. But he said, no, 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 no. What do you love? What makes you happy? I said, ooh, okay. I'm given permission to think about what makes me happy. All
Mm.
right. So Dad drove, and back in the day, I'm gonna date myself here. Back in the day, you had to go to the registrar's office and get that big old book. It was like a big old book like this,
Yeah.
all the different classes that you could take. He said, "Go and get that book." He kept on driving around. He told me, "Flip through that book. Find what you love. Find what speaks to you. Find what puts your heart on fire." I was like, "Oh, wow, this is some real directive now." So he's driving, and I'm flipping, and I'm like, "Dad, I got it. I got it. I love psychology. I love how the mind works. I love
Mm.
how we engage." He's okay, go change your major. But I was like, but Dad, I'm going to lose my scholarship. How are we going to pay for this? Like, basically, I should come home right now anyway. He's like, no, 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 no. It's all going to work out. God will provide. Go change your major. So I changed my major. And I mean, the story can go on and on and on because it was benefit after benefit after having made that decision. But that decision was imperative because I had been hiding behind people's opinions. I had not been authentic. I hadn't been true. At no point did I want to really be an engineer, but I was going where I was told to go. But being given permission at that age of 21 or whatever it was a game changer for me. And I was able to do some things I really wanted to do.
Right. And I love that. I love how you broke that down. And y'all hear motivators that she got here early and she got in front. She got in front of her ugly. And that's what we talk about all the time is there takes a certain level of trials and tribulations to ignite what God has for you. And we're gonna get into that. But your dad had to come down there and say, hey, wait, let's think about it. Let me support you. And we'll pray about it. And you know what's crazy is my dad has always been like that too.
Really?
So when I go through my trials and tribulations, I just pray about it and I manifest it and it comes. Like, God, I need a new car. I'm really working hard. God, I need this. I need to, God, give me some time. And I know physically the man can't make that happen, but the faith I have in what God has done for me, it happens.
Right.
Even me right now, I didn't even know how I was going to complete my doctor because my
Mm,
mind frame and going through mental health and doing all this and struggling. God was like, just stay the longest. And education is not about who's the smartest. It's who stayed the longest with the lights out. And I stayed there. We
absolute
stayed
truth.
there. You stayed there. You changed it. And let's talk about it. So you got into psychology?
Yeah.
Let's talk
And
about that.
fantastic. fantastic. And especially given my interest, I wasn't able to put that into words. I wasn't able to articulate it at that point in my life. But I love how the mind works.
Mm,
I love how we think. I love that, our expressions are a conglomerate. It is all of us.
right.
So, psychology was,
Let's talk about that pivot.
oof, that was fantastic for me. It was my junior year. I had to do some makeup work. I had to make up some ground here. But when you do things that you love, it doesn't feel like work, right?
Man, don't.
So the hustle didn't even feel like a hustle. So I was in there taking additional classes, whatever, working overtime just to get this thing done. And from there, I am so blessed to have the people around me that support me, regardless of what was going on in the inside. But I had such a supportive family and friendships and all of that. So my junior year, I'm in psychology. I'm pushing through senior year at this point. My sister says to me, she's already in law school. My brother is already in law school. She says, "What are you gonna do with yourself? What you gonna do after this? You about to graduate? What you gonna do?" And I was like, "I don't know.
Mm,
I don't know." She said, "Think about law school." I said, "Okay, I can think about law school." And it made sense to me. The way that I'm interested in the mind, and how do you couple that with being a champion for people whose voices are not always at the table? How do
mm,
you couple that with, the thought processes of people? How do you allow them to be? How do you allow yourself to be a voice for the voiceless? Right. So I was
wow.
like, oh,
I love that.
that's powerful.
Yes.
That's what I want to do.
Man.
So from there, went to school. I actually went to school in North Carolina, and
Okay.
that's where my siblings went to HBCU. Shout out to the
Shout
HBCUs.
out to the HBCBU. Come on.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. And going through law school, came out, and now all bets are off. I'm empowered. I can do some
Mm,
things.
I
It
love that.
doesn't mean that I'm working for Fortune 5. It doesn't mean that, out the gate $1 million in the bank. It doesn't mean that, but it means that I was satisfied
You
and
got a
I feel
voice.
justified in walking in my calling. And I say that um, um, almost almost tongue in cheek because our calling is what we're responding to, right?
Right. Right.
But that was it for me. That was it. And that has been my sweet spot ever since.
I love that. I love the fact how you transition and when we talk about the pivot and how to activate your gift, make sure you guys understand at the motivators table when you pivot, make sure you pivot the right way. We all know basketball, we all know pass, dribble, shoot. When you
Mhm.
pivot, make sure that you pivot the right way, or you might run into another defender. And people don't
Even
that's in business and that's in
yes,
life. She pivoted the right way to psychology and boom, her sister was like, hey, she's her sister see what she have in her. She don't see it yet. Hey, I think you need to get
mhm.
into this lawyer stuff. You happy,
Yes.
right? I think, and y'all didn't catch the words. I know you guys got your highlighters and pens, right? She said the voice for the voiceless, and that's all I talk about because it seems like a lot of people don't have a voice, and when the voices that don't have voices starting to talk, people misunderstand it because you very
True.
rarely hear us because we always observing and we always getting blocked out. When I started to speak and tell my message, I was
Yeah.
blocked. I was
Wow.
boycotted. I was ridiculed. It was he
What?
was trying to be Eric Thomas. He was trying to be Les Brown. He was trying. I'm trying to be them all.
Are you
Let me tell you something.
serious?
I'm trying to be them all. All. Hey, listen. That's what I. It's like watching Kobe and Michael Jordan,
Yeah.
Allen Iverson,
Yeah.
Shaq, all these people play, and I'm a basketball player, kid growing up. Yes, I watched them and emulated them. But guess what? I
Yeah.
watched my dad. I watched my grandfather, and I'm every bit of everybody I watch, even Zig Ziglar. So stop
Right.
playing with me. Yes, I am going to be the next. This is who I am, and now that's what you're doing, and I appreciate it because it
Yeah.
shows me offline that I can talk to you safely about a situation that I'm having. And people don't know that even being a motivational speaker,
Mhm.
life coach, we got real life issues. I'm dealing with my nephew right
What?
now who has 80 years,
Yes.
80 years in prison right now because he
Oh
was a
my
child. He
God.
did something. He was there. He made a song about it and it went viral. I popularly
Oh my God.
my nephew right now is sitting down because of that. So I believe that the lawyers, the right ones have the voice that can change. And
For sure.
sometimes in our culture we think police, lawyers, everybody are out to get us. No, that's not always true. Some of
No.
them are want to give us the voice that we never had, and that's what you have. So let's transition into
Yeah.
you being a lawyer, psychology lawyer, and let's transition to how you feel doing that and what kind of
Wow.
feeling it gives
Yeah.
you to do your purpose.
Yeah. And can I preface this first by
Yes.
responding to a comment that you said about, when people were ridiculing you and saying, oh, you just want to be like X, Y, and Z. But the beauty is that there is room at the table for all of these gifts. There's room for all of us who bring gifts to the table. So I'm only trying to be Shirley, and I'm gonna be the best Shirley because
That's
no
it.
one else can emulate Shirley,
The
right?
best version.
But they're the absolute best version. But there's room at the table for Shirley and Jay and everyone else who is bringing a positive message and is trying to change our community from
Right.
the inside.
Right.
So there is no competition there.
Right.
There's absolutely no competition there.
Definitely. Definitely.
But responding to how I feel, this is a really unique time and space for me. So I think I did a lot of concentration on the mechanics. Like, let me make sure I'm getting it right. Let me make sure that I'm doing this the right way. But now is the flow. And it's so strange to say it like that because it's always been in me, but now it feels innate. Now it just feels like I eat, drink, and breathe this type of conversation and this type of mindset and this type of encouragement. If it's not this, I'm probably not going to sit at the table with you
Mm.
regardless. So, this is kind of how I have to be now. I've gotten the mechanics down. I've gotten the mechanics of law down. I've gotten the mechanics of coaching down. But now is the flow. And you're just going to get me as I am because it's so full and and it encapsulates all of me. So when we speak, it's just going to flow out.
I
So
love
this
it.
is where I am now.
I love it. I love the fact that that's what you love to do, and you know that it's your gift when you wake up and love everything you got going on about it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter not amount not a lot of money. Like you, I get up and I get to it, and God has gave me another opportunity to try it. Like people don't understand it. It is you're in a game, and you might miss shots. Get the rebound. Get the rebound. Let's start all over. Set the offense back up. We here again. It's fourth quarter. That's what you got to do. And I felt like when I went bankrupt, God was like, I told you already not to go that way, but you didn't want to listen. So I let you bump your head and come
Mm,
back. And God was like, now go speak life. And I was like, God, how? I don't want to be my dad. I don't want to be my grandfather. He was like, I didn't ask you that.
right.
Like, develop your own who you are, that baritone, that voice, that
Right.
articulation is in you. Your father, your grandfather gave that to you innately. Use it. Or when you get to heaven, I'm gonna ask you, did you use your gift? And if you didn't, that's on you. That's your bad because you didn't serve, and I'm serving, and you are serving, and I
Have
believe
to.
that
Have
you
to.
are the one of the best lawyers out there, and I can
Thank
feel your
you.
energy. And I'm gonna tell
Thank
you something, people. Frequency don't lie. We
you.
found each other
Mm-mm.
on LinkedIn, and she
Yeah.
talked to me like she knew me all, for a long time
Our
already,
entire life.
way
We've been
before.
siblings our entire life.
Way before like we found out some other things about each other, but I appreciate it. And I want you to rope us in about just any a situation scenario you had when you had to change somebody's life, being their lawyer for the right, for the positive. Because we always hear negative. We hear
Yeah.
cases being.
Yeah.
Let's hear some good stuff about what you're doing in your community and how you serving.
Oh. Well, I will share a story from before, from back in the day. And uh and I will couple it with what I'm doing now. So when I started, again, our family, this is such a unique opportunity. I don't take it for granted and I recognize how this sounds, but I walked into my family's firm. So my brother and my sister started this law firm. They paved the way. I came in as attorney after I finished everything, right? And my love has had always and still is our kids, and we share that in common. We haven't even had that conversation
Mm,
yet,
yeah.
but our children. So I was they called it back then in Connecticut, they called it a special public defender. So I would defend children and bring their cases forward, represent them in court. So if they're any kind of infractions, if they're going awry, they pull me in. Shirley, we need you to represent, you know, little James because he has something going on. So there's one particular young man. I would, he was a repeat offender. I would see him all the time. I'm always representing him for, you know, it started to be minor, but then it escalated. Started to be larger things. And one day I remember I was representing him, and we have our lawyer client conference, and I'm sitting down like, "Yo, what are you trying to do with yourself? Like, how many times have and not scolding and not reprimanding, but this is love. Love for our kids, love for our community. And who's going to say it better than your people? Who's going to say it
Mm,
better than auntie? Who's going to
right.
say it better than grandma? Because
Yeah.
I love you. And why are you here?
Yeah.
Why do I keep finding you in this position, in this predicament?
Mm,
So we had a conversation, and I remember his probation officer called me after the fact and was almost like, "What did you say to him? What did you tell this
yeah.
young man?" So it wasn't even that I had to zealously represent him, I had to love him. So that was the game changer of how I treated my clients, which were kids. Like, this is not where you want to be. And I would see them in lockup. I would see them go visit them, incarcerated, for a 15, 16, 17-year old, and trying to speak life into their life. Speak life that they're bigger than this, they're more than this. So that situation, that was a press for me. I was like, ooh, so my words are important and my demeanor is important. And a lot of these attorneys brush these kids off, and a lot of them don't care one way or another, but that's people. It's not just attorneys, that's just people. And that's our environment. And that was how people engaged with these youngsters. So that was very important to me. That was a game changer. And now moving on, what I tend to do now in the area of law, I do a lot of practice in is small business. So those who have a dream, you have a dream and a vision, let's make it happen. How can you get beyond your kitchen table, and how can you get into sustainable business that is not going to be, people aren't checking for you, that you haven't filed this, that, and the third. You're not you're not misrepresenting yourself for any reason, that you're not stepping on the toes of the authorities or the government, state or federal. So how do you make your dreams a reality? That's really how I step in now. So they're not big shining stories of what we would see on Law and Order or what we would see on TV, but these are everyday examples of how can someone just step in and be a friend to you, be a sister, be a brother to you, love on you in the communal sense, and how can we take that and be able to be pushed forward? So that's what I do now.
hopefully, motivators, new viewers, old viewers, motivators. Hopefully, you're hearing this story. This is amazing story. You see what she's doing in her community. You see how she's helping, and she's dropping down to help these small businesses. And I tell you what, owning a small business is so crazy because when I got out the military and got help for my mental, then I had dreams of owning a small business, and I did. I was an entrepreneur, and I did it really well. Really well. I went to all these veteran entrepreneurship programs, certifications, all this stuff to learn it. Started my business, did really good. Then COVID hit, and COVID hit hard, and I went
Yeah.
bankrupt. And I didn't have no lawyer. I didn't have nobody to tell me what I should do, and they attacked me, tore me down. Almost
Yeah.
committed suicide for the
Oh,
fourth time because
Lord.
we have all these resources when we start businesses to help us and even try to get funding. But when that business failed, even the veterans, I was a single
Yeah.
father trying to feed my kids, and I couldn't even feed them because my bank account was blocked because of the loans I had, and all these things that I didn't understand. And I was by myself, and I had hired
Mm,
all these people to work with me. And when I went down, it was just me. And I
right.
understood God wanted me to pivot, but it was a hard pivot because
It's
I was
tough.
embarrassed. I still deal with it to this day. I still have ongoing situations because sometimes I don't understand the literature, and that's one of the reasons why I went to go get my master's. Because as our culture and African American people, we don't understand finances. We don't understand business. We know hustling, but we don't know business until we fail. And when I failed, I said, you know what, God, when you pick me back up, let me go apply to get my master's and understand business. And I did it and I graduated and now I know, but God prepped me for all that to get me to right here. And I'm not trying to preach to you. This is
No,
the
I hear
table.
you
This is what we
100%.
do. And that we being very vulnerable with each other. And God, I'm listening to you talk and I'm dealing with something prior and offline we'll speak. And God was like, I told you I would send somebody that can understand this type of language of entrepreneurs and business. And I'm gonna tell you about it when we get offline.
Hmm. Hmm.
But look how God works. And I'm gonna tell you something before we let her continue. You cannot fake frequency. I tell you that all the time, motivators.
Yeah.
You can't.
Hmm.
You can't get through it. Either you got it or you don't. And sometimes people will come in your life to ride your frequency.
Oh, for sure.
And when you cut them off, you to blame.
Yep.
But I'm gonna tell you something again. Let it happen because you like R&B singers. Why we don't have that many R&B singers now? Because we stopped telling the love stories. We stopped telling the heartbreaks.
Yeah.
Nobody's in love no more, and nobody's dealing with nothing. It's all good, right? No, it's not all good. We need Joe to see back. We need boys to men. And what I'm saying is, I'm glad I go through these things
Yeah. Yeah.
because so I can tell my story and relate. Because if you never haven't talked to me yesterday or in a couple of weeks or last year, I'm a new version of myself. So you don't know this, JR. You don't
Come
know the
on.
work I'm putting in.
Come
You don't
on.
know that I'm grinding. We appreciate you for working and grinding and putting that work in. Tell me, um, tell me how you are with your clients as like as a whole in the essence of that. You know, tell me how you
Hmm.
are, and then we get into. I'm gonna
Yeah.
get into something else. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. So it's twofold. So the clients I have that are legal clients, um, we, in business, they say, you keep people as business and you keep it arm's length, and that's fine. And I do appreciate that as a concept, but I have to know you and I have to understand and I actually have to care about what you're doing. So, not to say that I'm picking and choosing, oh, I care about this, I don't care about that. I'm choosing to care. I'm choosing to say, oh, wow, okay, ice cream shop in Alaska. Okay, let's go. I'm here. I'm here for you. Let's do it. So, I choose to be supportive. I choose to love, and that's in of a larger sense, of the community. I'm choosing to do so. So I believe that makes me more effective in how I can show up as opposed to just, I'm taking the check, I'm doing the work, I'm pushing these papers, I'm helping to get you through. I'm choosing to care about you. So if that's the case, all right, call me, text me, let me know what's going on. Let me know how we can work through this. If I can't do it, and there's a lot of things I don't know, and I don't have the higher skill sets or the frequency of doing. Let me get you to someone who can help you out. But let's take care of this,
Mm,
right? Because I'm choosing to care.
I love that. I love that. And I love the fact that you choose to care. A lot of people, like the world is in shambles right now. And we don't have a lot of people who really care, or even we might say it and hashtag it, but really do care. She's in the paint with it. You heard what she just said. If she can't help you, she gonna point you in the right direction. And sometimes we run into people that say I can help, or they look like they can help, and when they
Yeah.
can't help, they leave you dry. They leave you on red after that because I don't know if it's embarrassment. I don't know if they just said, you know what, I'm done
Yeah.
with it. But I didn't ran into people that said, hey, I can help it. When they see the amount of problems it is, it's like I can't
Yeah.
help. And I understand. And sometimes my heart. That's why I got this book coming out in February 15th on my dad's birthday. A good heart
All
gonna pay
right.
bills because you can give everything you got, and when you go down, ain't nobody there. And I
Yeah.
continue. My heart is my biggest accomplishment and my worst one because I love you to death. And then
Yeah.
even if you keep lying to me or try, I was still trying to dig you out that hole in quicksand. And
Mm-hmm.
I asked God. I said, God, like I don't want to be an a hole. But I said, "How do you want me to handle this? Because I do have concern for these situations, and that's what you seem like you have too.
I
And
have
we
to.
appreciate you here at the Motivators table. Telling your story and telling us who you are. So let's get into the fun part. Let's talk about the number one sorority that you're a part of. Let's talk about that.
Zeta Phi Beta Sorority
Yeah.
Incorporated. Let
Come on,
me
you see how your
tell
face lit up?
you.
Let's come on. You look at that. I see you. What's going on? Yeah.
So, interestingly enough, I've been a part of this amazing, illustrious sisterhood since 1994.
Mm.
I at no point will consider myself an OG, but since 1994.
Wow.
But we are actually, I'm a part of a group of sisters who are chartering a new chapter this weekend. So, our chartering ceremony is tomorrow.
Congratulations.
Yes,
Let's talk about it.
yes.
Let's talk about it a little bit. I know we can't talk a lot, but let's talk about it. Yeah.
Yes, 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 for sure. So I came through in college, in tough times, and it doesn't matter when you come through into this type of organization, into the sorority or into the fraternity, you are engulfed, you are embraced. But
Yeah.
for me, it was so imperative because coming through in college, dealing with some of the things I was dealing with, I needed people around me to be like, you know what? Let me just wrap my arms around you. Not really, but emotionally,
Right.
figuratively. Let me just support you. What can I do to help? And some of the most beautiful, genuine folks are those that you find in the sisterhood and in the brotherhood. And I
Yeah.
found that in college, and
Yeah.
that has contributed. My best friends is actually our sorority sister, and her name also is Shirley.
Okay.
But
What's up,
but
Shirley?
Shirley,
Yeah.
but being able to have a community of people that you know got your back,
Come on, man.
that's a game changer. As an adult,
Yes.
when I was looking for jobs, when was this? This was I was looking to transition from the job I was in. I wasn't working with a family firm at that point, and the first call was to some of my sisters and brothers. Hey, what you got going on? What you know about?
Yeah.
And there is not required that anyone help you. Is you can't expect anyone to do anything for you. However, the people that surround us want to. This people that surround us desire to. Just because you're their sister, you're their brother, we are family. So the work that we do in Connecticut is service oriented. It's like that everywhere, but I can only speak for the state in which I am. Service oriented. We are wanting to help the community. You know, the sororities and the fraternities were started out of a need, and
Yeah.
we were started because we were othered. We
Yes.
were the others. No, y'all can't come in here.
Yeah.
So, considering that is our history, the it's not even giving back at this point. It's just giving. We
Right.
we have we have a requirement to serve. We have it is within us. It is our desire. It is the fire that burns to serve and to be of service to others.
Yes.
So that's primarily how I fall into this space and why I still exist in it and why when many people are out here renouncing this at the third and
Yeah.
I'm very um very Christian in my thought in my thinking, but there is no need for me to renounce anything. I am so very much steeped in
Right.
service and giving and the people
Right.
who surround me. So,
Right.
what about you, my brother? What about you?
Oh man, I'm part of the best fraternity in the world, Blue Sigma Phi. You know what I'm saying? Phi Beta Sigma. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I'm like Phi Beta Sigma changed my life, changed my life. My mentor, I saw him at a conclave that was with the Qs, and he was speaking. He had on this blue coat, and I was a speaker, and I'm like, I'm looking, and I'm older, and I'm like, I thought the Sigmas was just a military thing, but little did I know, I started doing my history. And oh boy, when I opened that book and did my history and saw all these things, George Washington Carver, the peanut guy, all
Yeah.
these things, and I'm like, and I've been recruited by many, but you know, I thank God that I chose, or Phi Beta Sigma chose me,
Yeah.
and
That's the
I'm
right way. That's the
yes,
right
and
way.
I'm valued, and my mentor, I used to have a hard time. Because a lot of the brothers, we do the community service and we do the register ones we have to do and meet up at the, Meals on Wheels and do certain things.
Mhm.
I was having a hard time because I'm always speaking and traveling, but everywhere I go, I wear my colors, and I was
You're
getting,
gonna find somebody.
yeah, thank you, I appreciate it, and I wear them and I represent, but some of the brothers were saying like I'm not there physically with them. My mentor, he told me, he said, "Hey, listen, you add value to the frat. You are doing
Yeah.
all these things already. Everywhere you go, you wear your colors. That is your community service. Nobody had to tell you to do that. Soon as you cross that, like that was part of you." And I said, yes, that's all I wanted, is just to show the world what it looks like from my standpoint. I never knew about none of this growing up. And then when I got older, I found out my grandfather, which was a minister in theology, and I mean a doctor in theology, he was a Kappa man. So I didn't know that, and he was Jamaican. So I didn't know that, but now I know why that I am the way I am, and I know that I was searching for something. And I know that I don't mix the two. I'm a heavy believer in God, and I love the frat. I love my city of Long Beach. I love the military. So all of them are different echelons. I don't try to mix as this is not a concoction that I mix all together. Like when I go serve, I serve. When I go do Long Beach thing, I do Long Beach. When I go do military, but guess what? I am all of that, and you are that, and I appreciate you because after we conversated, then you told me, and I was like, what? Look at that. Look how small the world is. You know what I'm saying? And we crossed at different times, but it's the same energy. And I appreciate you. And thank you for
Completely.
just, making me feel
Absolutely.
welcome and everything like that. So, did you come to the conclave in
I
Tampa?
did not. I did
Okay.
not. The schedules sometimes don't allow for that, but I love how you said your mentor shared with you.
Yeah.
You're representing. This is your
Yeah.
service. You're representing
Yeah.
all the time,
Hmm.
and the amount of love. I know. I feel like a broken record. I see it right there. I see it right there.
Yeah. Come on.
I feel like a broken record because I'm always talking about, and especially this conversation, love, love, love. But I think that's the basics.
Hmm.
If I can know that you are my brother, that's the base level.
That's
Everything
it.
from there, we just grow from there. At
We
base
locked in.
level, you're
Yes.
my brother.
We locked
And
in.
you got me, I got you.
I got you. I told you
So
when you talked to me, I was like, "How about you want to be on my podcast?" Because I felt this energy. I said, "We need to talk. Let's figure this thing out." And
I
God led me to you.
appreciate
God
it.
led you to me. And
I
like I
appreciate
said, this is amazing just to be here and even your time. So I appreciate your time and everything.
absolutely.
What I want you to do is before we get off the air is leave the viewers, the motivators, the new ones, the old ones, people just wanting to subscribe but haven't yet. Leave them with a good motivational quote, life coaching piece that you do from your
Oh,
heart, though, from your heart.
I got you. I got you. And
Yeah.
thank you for the invitation. This has been a
Yes, it's been beautiful.
wonderful conversation. And I am, a lot of times as givers, we give, but I feel so full. I feel
Oh no,
you've
I
poured
wanted,
into me, and I
I,
appreciate that.
I wanted to introduce you to my world because you're
Appreciate
such an amazing person, and
it.
I could feel you serve so many people. So I was like, how can I serve you?
I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But the thought that I have, it's a consistent one and persistent, is that we all have stories. Every last one of us, we have experiences, we have stories that have been given to us, meaning like stories that are passed down, concepts that are passed down. And then we have our lived experience, we have our own stories. But what happens when those stories are no longer the barriers? What
Mm,
happens when we can break free of the impact, the negative impact of those connotations? That's unlearning, and that's what I write about. But that's when you step into a new space. You
mm,
step into a new version of yourself. You
mm,
don't arrive, but you're becoming. You're
mm.
always becoming. So
Yes.
like throwing that aside and allowing yourself to just be embracing every aspect of you, embracing those what felt like negativity, it made you you. It's the conglomerate of you being yourself here, and it's necessary. Not to say that we live in the pain, but we reframe the pain. And you step into that season of yourself where you're just gonna keep pushing and
Yeah.
you're gonna win because you recognize who you are and you're becoming.
There you go. I love it. And also too, I'm not gonna let you leave. You was gonna tell me something before we started live. So you said you was gonna tell me something about myself, and we stopped about it. I forgot
Oh,
what it was. You
you
was
know I
saying,
forget.
what did you say? I was powerful or something like that. You was getting into
Oh,
something. I don't know what you saw on LinkedIn or what you've been seeing. So can you tell the world what drew you to me?
yeah.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, the message makes is made room for the messenger, right? So your message jumped out at me, and the way that you are coming with, I love mindset, and the way that you're coming to just exist in the mindset. And your story, I read a little bit of your story, and your story could have broken you, Jay. It could have, you could have not been in this seat right here to speak with me.
Mm,
But there is something so powerful about the way that you approach the community that you're building and those that you want to serve, and not allowing those things to be your detriment. So that's what I saw online. I'm like, oh, let me reach out to this brother.
yeah.
Next thing you know, I saw a couple things. I'm like, oh, this brother is my brother. So
Yeah.
let me
You
reach out to
speak
my
like
brother.
yeah. Definitely. I appreciate you. Leave us with your social medias, how we can find you.
Absolutely, and I thank you for it.
Mm.
So, with regard to the book and coaching and moving forward for small businesses, for business leaders, for C suite women, for C suite men, for leaders, it is website The Unlearned Method. The Unlearned Method, and then you connect to me there. On social, I am Shirley Skyers Thomas, and Skyers is Skyers hyphen Thomas. That is on LinkedIn, that's on Facebook, that's on Instagram. Anywhere where you can connect with me, I'm happy to connect back with you. So let's link up.
Shirley,
Appreciate you, Gay.
do me a favor, leave your website in the chat real quick so I can give that to you
Absolutely.
real
Sure
quick.
will. Sure
Yeah.
will.
I'm gonna drop it right here live, guys, before we go offline. I'm gonna drop it for you guys so you guys have it. So you can find her book, her coaching, everything like that. I know you guys want to. I know you waiting in line. I'm gonna drop it quick. Yeah. Drop
I
it in the chat.
appreciate that. And
Yeah,
when is your release coming out? Hit me one more time.
February 15th.
Oh
A good
man.
heart don't pay bills.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna.
This has been fantastic, Jay.
Okay, here, show on stream. There we go. There she is, right there.
Look forward to connecting. So let's stay in it because
Yep.
we need to lift each other up. And this is a space again where there are seats at the table for those who are coming with the right motivation and coming with the right reasons. There are seats at the table.
Yes.
But let's lift each other's hands up. So I thank you so much for it.
There's are several seats at the table, and this is the part where we pour into you as motivators. So this is what I do. So I want you to do me a favor. Hold your cup up, blank, empty cup. Hold it up with me. Pour it out, because I don't want nothing in the cup now. Hold it up. And I want to tell you,
Come on
first of all, thank you so much for just taking the time to grace the motivators table. But we here, we proud of you. We love you. Do not stop. Keep your foot on their neck. When it gets hard, you know where to tap in at.
now.
Do not forget who you are. You are brave. You are smart. You are honored. You are wealthy. You are healthy. I'm speaking life into you.
Yes, you
Because
are.
sometimes you probably think that you don't have anybody to do this, but I'm going to tell you, your brother from another mother is speaking life into you, and we
I receive
appreciate
it.
you. And I see what you're doing. And thank you for changing lives. Thank you for being an inspiration to me. Nobody comes to my motivator table if I'm not inspired. So I'm going to tell you guys that right now. If I'm not inspired, you're not getting no free promo from me. But if I'm inspired, because I need to be, I'm going to bring you on. I'm on the road to do 100 episodes.
Let's go.
100 episodes because I'm on the road to prove to myself I am him. I'm right. And this is what we got to do. Thank you, Los Angeles Tribune, for giving me a chance. Thank you, Riverside, for giving me the platform. Thank you to all my sponsors, Pro Immune, Focus Pills. Thank you, everybody, for believing in me. And guess what? Thank you to the non-believers and the haters. I need y'all too. I need that so I can turn that into to some power, to some synergy. I appreciate it. Hey, Shirley, thank you so much. We love you here.
Blessings, Jay.
Appreciate
Blessings.
you.
Love you. You're doing
Hey,
a great job.
the Motivators Table. I can't wait to have you guys on season 5 coming up soon. I appreciate it. Boom.